Well guys, this is my sandblaster. It's a Cyclone and it's done pretty good. The glass is really kind of crazed. It's a little dark in there and I have to keep shaking it to get the media in the bottom. So you can see here it's a nice little blast cabinet. Got an incandescent bulb in there. So, but just a little bit small. So I went out and bought this Harbor Freight 40-pound capacity blast cabinet. So let's see how it is. Well, right away I can tell that the box had a big old thing in it when I got it from the store. It looks like it's bent in there. So this panel looks good. This may be bent a little bit. I'll just bend it back instead of having to drive all the way back to Harbor Freight. Yeah, I plan on just bending it. Yeah, man, this thing's got some bends in it. So if you guys are not buying it in the store, you might want to take a, if you're getting it shipped to you, it might get bent up. I'll just try to bend this stuff out, like I said, instead of having to go back to the store again. Gloves here, hardware kit, glass, alright, I'm going to do this by the instructions, and I can see, like I said, there's some bends in here that yeah, this will bend right back out. Alright, step one is complete with the light brackets on. Step two, gloves and glove rings on. Well, after further review, I realized that this little ring here on the inside, which is this thing, is actually supposed to go on the outside. It's a seal. So I'll take that apart. Look at, like I said, looking at the diagram. Look at the diagram, and didn't cost me too much time though. So it goes on here first, and then you mate that up to there. Anywho's. Now that's much more better. Time to put the gloves on. Next thing it calls for is the dust collector whole thing. So we'll put that on. What's kind of nice is they have this this double stick type of padding in here. But back on these holes, they're I'm gonna need to poke a hole in them to get the screws in to hold it together. Well, after further review and looking on the internet, it looks like I'm getting this a little out of order, whereas this thing needs to connect to this and the top, and I have to put that tape on the top, the bottom, the top, and the bottom of this, and then connect that. I read it on there, but I didn't quite understand it until I just went and watched it on YouTube. So YouTube is worth its weight in gold. Anyway, let's do it. Well, everything you watch on YouTube isn't 100% correct. After looking at this, the guy on there put his tape on this part and this part, and really it'd have been better just to put it on here, because one is it fit better. As you can see, it doesn't fit totally on there, but two, the sticky side is up, and what that's going to do is it's going to leave a spot out here just going to catch dirt on both of these. When I connect this down on here, it's just going to leave this spot down here collecting dirt. So take and put it on this side. Make sure you put it on this side and this side on this part. Now on this side part, I'm leaving it up there just to kind of hold that. I just got one bolt holding it. And this will help me to secure all the screws here with this being held because it's so flimsy. And then I'll have to slide it under here to make it work. But I'm going to get all these bolts on this one first, nuts and bolts on here, and then I'll start working on the back panel. Like I said, these two side panels are just to help me hold it right now. Well guys, here's a little trick I learned. When you're putting the washer on here, it's very difficult to hold that to get the nut on here. And what I found is if I take a magnet, this is if you're doing this by yourself, it'd be cool if you had two people. But with one person, put a magnet up here, put your washer on, that holds it up, and you can screw your nut on there. Makes it a lot easier. Well, I didn't bore you with the details, but what we did here is just secured all of these cabinet screws and bolts and put on this door and this little door thingy here. Just 3 screws there and 4 screws to hold the thing on the back. So right now we got a little cabinet, and now they tell us to put the light in, so I'm going to put the light in. Well, the guy in the YouTube video I watched said that there's not enough cord on here to power cord. Well, on this one with the light in here, gosh, it's really hard to see it, but there's the light right there, and there is plenty of cord. So anyway, maybe they improved it. Okay, got the light switch on. That wasn't a big deal. And onto the funnel. It doesn't have me putting the glass in yet. I think that might be one of the last steps, but time to put the funnel together. Well, these 2 panels look pretty good, but these 2 right here have been bent in several places, just like the guy I saw on YouTube. His had been bent as well. The good news about it is it's fairly thin sheet metal. The engineers made this with economy in mind. They did the thinnest gauge metal they could get away with to hold this thing up. Anyway, because of that, it's bent, but it's easy to bend back. Okay, now that that's on there, these were all the parts that were bent, and this little part goes on top of this. So that looks like it'll keep it all straight. Well guys, I'm going to deviate from the script right now. I got this blasting cabinet. The next thing on there after we get the light on is to put the legs on the cabinet. But what I'm going to do, since I'm working on this thing here, this hopper, I'm going to go ahead and continue up with the hopper. Get this thing all finished, since it's right front and center. Then I'll put the legs on and get these two married up. Well, as usual, the instructions aren't that good, so I went to YouTube and trying to get an idea of what to do with this stuff. This cabinet is slightly different than the ones I have on here. I don't see the thing here, this ring. My guess is, since this is padded here, and padded on the bottom, that this goes inside the blast cabinet and tightens down on this, and that's the way I'm going to put it on. And also, they say put this on here, but really this attaches to the blast cabinet itself. So this is just sitting on here, and I think I'm going to try to prop this up, set the blast cabinet on here instead of having it on the legs and trying to have somebody else help me with this. Just set this on here and try to get it bolted up. Alright, so I put that on there now, and time to get the legs on and we'll get it stood up. So we'll get the legs on something like that. Alright, now that the legs are installed, I'm going to stick on this bottom tray and we'll stand this baby up. Well, moment of truth, here goes nothing. Well, here she is without the glass, and just so you know, there's a third shim, but they don't tell you where it goes. That third shim goes back here. This one has a hinge, and that's behind the one leg. The other three need shims. I knew the first two did, the front two, but I didn't understand where the third one went. It goes behind the one without the hinge. Well, here's my old sandblaster right here, and here's the new sandblaster here, and I am absolutely licked on this one. Down here I put the sand in and it started leaking out of there, as you can see, so that's something I have to do. Also, to get the sand out of the bottom, there is a handle on there. I put it on the wrong side. So actually I should have put the hopper on the other way up there. So anywho's, I'm looking around and there's sand here, over here, and I'm guessing probably back here. Yep. So in all four corners there's sand. So I'm going to need to seal that up with some silicone, or silicone, whatever it's called. But this bottom thing, I gotta figure out how to seal that so that the sand, like I said, I poured it in there, it just started pouring out the bottom. It leaks out of those, all the corners there. Gotta figure that one out. Anywho's, I'm licked right now. This is day 3. No leaks in the air, but this is day 3. putting it together by myself, so that took quite a bit of time. Like I said, I am licked. I'll give it a couple days of cooling off, come out here and tackle those items and be ready to go. By the way, it does blast like a champ though. So it blasts okay, it's just I gotta figure out all the little nuances of it. But there's a little thing down in there. I blasted that little thing for the tractor. Anywho's, like I said, I am absolutely beat right now, so more later. Well, after a couple of day cooling off period, I got down here and took off this thing that lets the sand out, and took that off of there, and it looks like this padding down in there needs to be reinforced. So I'm going to put a little bit more stuff down in there. This was a lot easier to get off than I thought. I'm glad, because sand was leaking all around here, and what it looks like is where these joints meet up, sand was coming out of here and then going up over the top, and it was possibly leaking out of this thing too where the door shuts on it. So I'm going to put that on there and give it a shot. And also the sand that was leaking up here, I vacuumed it up, and the guy, one of my friends told me that got to have the vacuum hooked up because you got pumping in all that air and has nowhere to go, so the sand's got to come out somewhere. So anyway, it might be just this that I have to fix. So I'm going to try it and see what happens. Okay, well, I got it on with the lever facing forward, and I went around and put some silicone there, actually just glue, some clear glue around there, so hopefully the sand will come out. When I first put sand in it, I could hear it just running out. It sounded like water pouring out the bottom. So let's see if it worked. Okay, I also put some of that that foam stuff around the edge all the way around, so hopefully that will seal as well. Let's take a look. All right, I'm going to take this piece of metal from the tractor now, stick it in the sandblaster, and see how it works. Overall, I have to say I'm pretty happy about this sandblaster now. It can hold quite a bit of stuff. And I found out that the sand that was falling in the corners was due to me not having a vacuum on. So now that the vacuum's on there, there's just a little bit of sand that comes out down where the door opening is. Oh no. Just a little bit there. And that's from the door opening. And I'll put a little sealant around there and make sure she doesn't have any sand coming out. But I love it. I need a sandblaster, and that's a great one. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.